Do you feel guilty whenever you spend on things that you love? Are you always stressing out that your savings doesn't seem to be growing despite all your saving efforts? Feel like adulting is too difficult and you'll never reach your long-term financial goals? In this video, I'll share with you how you can save for your long-term goals and spend on anything that you love guilt-free on a consistent basis. Here's something that you have to do first, which is the most important step. You have to change the way you look at financial adulting. Handling your finances is not a scary or difficult thing at all, but many people feel stressful when they look at their own finances. Why? Because there isn't a plan. You thought you are saving money by allocating a certain amount to your savings, say $500 per month. But there comes a time where your computer broke down or you lost your phone, forcing you to make a huge purchase and your bank account seemed to go back to square one. You enjoy spending money on the things that you love, such as going out to eat with your friends, or your hobby requires you to pay a monthly membership. But you know that you have to save up money for your long-term goals or for your emergency fund for rainy days. You end up feeling guilty and you can't seem to fully enjoy the whole experience of doing the things that you love. You'll start to think that adulting is difficult, which in fact isn't. You only feel that way if you don't have a plan for your finances. And if you do, you'll know what I mean when I say that handling your finances can be fun. Here's what you need to know to start off, which is the most fun and game-changing step for me. This is also the #1 tip that I'll share with my friends when they ask me how to save money. Start tracking your expenses. You have to track your expenses to get an idea on where most of your money are flowing to. Are you spending more on food on a monthly basis? Are most of it on shopping? Or is it getting eaten up by subscriptions that you forgot that you are subscribing to? Track every cent down. It's entirely up to you on how you want to track your expenses. You can use Microsoft Excel, or you can follow what I do, which is using the numerous money tracking apps available on your phone's app store. Personally, I'm using an app called Moneyfy, which allows me to classify the type of expenses and give me an overview of where most of my money are flowing to in a pie chart format. You can use any other money tracking apps available on your app store as long as it gives you an idea on where your money is flowing to. Many people feel that it's difficult to save, and it's because they have no idea where all their money are being spent at. This will give you an idea, and it also let you know where you can improve on if you are trying to decrease your expenditure. If your tracker shows that you have spent $1,000 on food in the previous month, you'll know that it's time to cut back on eating out at those nice restaurants and make do with cheaper alternatives to save more in the following month. Next, write down your short and long-term financial goals. Short-term financial goals can be purchases that you can make in days, weeks, or in a few short months, such as getting a new phone, going overseas, or going on a date at a certain restaurant. Long-term financial goals are bigger purchases that requires you to take a longer period of time to save up, such as getting a new house for your wedding or for your kids' school fees. Write it all down and make sure you don't forget all these goals. The next step is to create multiple bank accounts. Each of these accounts should be easy to open with no minimum balance required. The idea is to have each of these accounts draw a certain amount of money into them every month, where you'll only be able to use the money that it's meant for. For example, you have a main account where your salary is flowing into. You create multiple other accounts that you'll draw money from the main account, such as an account for your insurance premiums, one for taxes, one for your savings, one for bills, and one for your joint account with your life partner. Everyone has different expenditure types, so you can create more accounts if you like depending on your own situation. If you need an account for your short-term goals, go ahead. If you need another for your long-term goals, create it. But keep in mind to not create too many, otherwise it gets difficult to keep track of everything. A good range would be 5 to 7 accounts. Ideally, all these expense accounts should be viewable on the same bank app. I recommend that the only account that should be in a different bank will be your savings account. There's no need to look at your savings account regularly since it's meant for your long-term goals or as your emergency fund. The best is to completely forget about it and only tap into it when you need to. The other key aspect of this step is to set up standing instructions for all these multiple accounts. Standing instructions are basically scheduled payments that you want your bank to execute on a regular basis. For example, let's say you receive your salary on the 22nd of every month. On the 23rd of each month, or whichever date you want after your salary crediting, you'll want to schedule an automated transfer of a certain amount from your salary crediting account into each of these multiple accounts that you have set up. Remember, all these must be automated with the help of a standing instruction from your bank. Once you have done this, you have to keep in mind that you can only use each of these accounts for what it's meant for. Never ever use money from your insurance account to pay for your phone bills or your savings account to pay for your taxes. Now, you may be thinking, how do I spend on things that I love guilt-free? Simple. Create an account for your leisure spending. The reason why you always feel guilty when spending on the things that you love is because you didn't properly set aside a set amount of money purely for such expenditures. If you don't set aside a set amount, you will know how much you can spend and you'll just end up burning through your whole account, leaving none for savings. But if you have an account purely for leisure activities, such as for traveling, it's entirely up to you to spend it all on what you love guilt-free, while having all your other obligations such as paying bills and insurance well taken care of. This is the very secret to spend on the things you love guilt-free. The benefit of this method transcends what you think on the surface. It's not just about separating your money. It gives you a sense of control and allows you to see your progress. If you are making all your expenditures through a single account, it's very difficult to see your financial progress. Your bank account keeps going up and down. You put in so much effort to save, only for it to be wiped out when an emergency comes, making you feel as if it's impossible to make any progress at all. With all these different accounts, each expenditure won't interfere with each other, and you'll still be able to see progress. Paying your yearly insurance premiums, which usually amounts to thousands of dollars, won't seem like it's making an impact on your savings, because your savings are in an entirely different account, and your savings account will only keep increasing. This psychological effect is more powerful than you think, to help gain you the confidence that you are in control of your life. Here's one more tip before I end things off, which is regarding your savings account. You have to set what I would call non-negotiable criteria for the usage of your savings account. Only if these non-negotiable criteria are met, then you can tap into your savings account. For example, some of my non-negotiable criteria to use the money inside my savings account are for emergencies, such as hospitalization for myself or family, loss of income as a result of unemployment, or urgent family obligations, such as requiring to make a bulk payment for a sudden house renovation when a water pipe bursts. It's very important to note that in no circumstance should you touch your savings account if these criteria are not met. It doesn't matter if that computer you really want is on a huge sale or Bitcoin suddenly drops by 50%. If the criteria that you have set initially are not met, you are not allowed to touch it. Let's set up a monthly scheduled payment to your savings account and forget about it. The whole idea of this video is to teach you the concept and the mindset that you should be implementing in order to take control of your finances. If you can take control of your finances, you pretty much have control of your whole life. If you have followed every one of these steps, adulting isn't that difficult after all. It's easy, it's fun, and it allows you to do whatever you want. Shake away the idea that taking care of your finances is a scary and taboo thing. In my next video, I will be going into detail on how to budget properly using the concepts that I've taught in this video. Do subscribe, click the notification button to know when the video comes up, and I'll see you in the next video.